Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. I'm sure that everyone watching this video knows about New Year's Day and celebrates it. But do you know how we celebrate in Great Britain? In this lesson, you're going to learn about the British New Year, which we celebrate on the 1st of January. Do you know how many people gather in London to watch the New Year's fireworks? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. New Year's Eve is a big party night in Britain. People all over the country celebrate with parties and fireworks to ring in the new year. In Scotland especially, it is a big event known as Hogmanay. When Big Ben chimes midnight to signal the start of the new year, we join hands and sing the traditional song Auld Lang Syne, a song about friends and forgiveness. A new year is seen as a new beginning, where we can say goodbye to the year that has passed and welcome the year that is coming. It is traditional to choose a New Year's resolution, and this is a goal or a change that we want to make to ourselves or our lives. Popular New Year's resolutions are to lose the extra pounds put on over Christmas or to quit smoking. In Britain, and especially Scotland, there is an old superstition and custom that the first person to enter a house in the new year will bring luck with them. If the first footer, as they are called, has dark hair, it is considered extremely lucky. As New Year's Eve is a party night, it means that New Year's Day is a very slow-paced day. Public transport and store hours are limited, and most people choose to stay home, relax, and nurse their headaches. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. Do you know how many people gather in London to watch the New Year fireworks? About 250,000 people gather every year along the River Thames to watch the fireworks. The fireworks are set off from boats along the river and also around the London Eye. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you remember the name of the song we sing to welcome the new year? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. The 4th of July is also known as Independence Day. It commemorates the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. Think of it as America's birthday. When most people think about July 4th, they think about fireworks. But do you know why Americans display fireworks on the 4th? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. Americans kick up their heels on this holiday in many ways, but people mostly go to picnics and barbecues. It's also a day to be patriotic, so you'll often see the American flag and people dressed in red, white, and blue. Parades are another common sight on the 4th of July, especially during the daytime. Why do they take place during the day? Because as soon as it gets dark, Americans gather to watch magnificent fireworks in the night sky. Some families set off small fireworks in their driveways, and some gather in parks or by the sea to see the larger, more professional firework displays. The most outstanding firework displays take place in New York City and Washington, D.C. Both of these displays are televised nationally, and the president even attends the display in Washington, D.C. On the 4th of July, you'll hear the U.S. national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. The words were written by Francis Scott Key, who was inspired to write the lyrics after witnessing the Battle of Fort McHenry in the War of 1812. And now, here's the answer to the quiz. Why do Americans shoot fireworks on the 4th? The custom of shooting off fireworks on Independence Day can be traced back to a quote by our second president, John Adams. He said that he believes that July 4th should be celebrated by pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Are there any holidays when fireworks are shot off in your country? Please leave a comment at EnglishClass101.com. Until next time!
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. It's getting cold. There are lights and decorated trees everywhere you look. That can only mean that it's nearly the 25th of December and nearly Christmas Day. In this lesson, you're going to learn about how Christmas is celebrated in Britain. If we think of Christmas, we think of snow scenes. But do you know what the definition of a white Christmas in the UK is? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. One of the most famous Christmas traditions, and the one that causes the most stress, is exchanging gifts. Children get excited to see what presents Santa Claus will leave for them under the Christmas tree, and leave brandy and a mince pie out for him on Christmas Eve. For adults, it means braving busy stores to find the perfect presents for those they love. But always remember, it's the thought that counts. Christmas is a time for families to gather together, and central to this is the Christmas dinner. The whole family sits down together to eat a heavy meal of turkey and all of the trimmings, followed by Christmas pudding for dessert. Often, we pull Christmas crackers, and inside these are terrible jokes, cheap presents, and paper Christmas hats. After lunch, while everyone is waiting for the food to digest, many people switch on the TV and watch the special Christmas programs and movies that are broadcast. The most famous of these is the Queen's Christmas speech. It's broadcast simultaneously on the two biggest TV channels in the UK, the BBC and ITV at 3 p.m. And the Queen reviews the year and gives us a Christmas message that usually speaks of tolerance and forgiveness. If you send a letter to Santa and address it to the North Pole, then it will go to the North Pole. If you address it to Santa's grotto, then instead it will be answered by his British elves. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. If we think of Christmas, we think of snow scenes. But do you know what the definition of a white Christmas in the UK is? A Christmas is considered a white Christmas in the UK if a single snowflake falls on the roof of the weather centre in London during Christmas Day. It doesn't matter how much snow the rest of the country gets. It only counts if it snows at the London Weather Centre. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you remember the name of the most famous Christmas programme? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, can busy people actually learn a language? You yourself probably have an answer to this question, right? But whether you can or can't actually has a bit more to do with your mindset than anything else. And in this guide, you'll discover, 1, is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? 2, mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And 3, 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Talking Online PDF cheat sheet. Learn the must-know internet slang and all the internet-related vocab and phrases in your target language with this PDF cheat sheet. And second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Can busy people actually learn a language? Part 1. Is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? So, can busy people actually learn a language? What do you think? Leave us a comment and let us know. As much as we want to say yes, it's more of a yes or no depending on the person. Why yes? Yes, because many of our members are busy and are learning with our system. And some of you who are watching also fall into this camp. But it also depends on the person because it's more of a mindset thing. Either you think you have time or you don't. For example, many of our members fall into the group of can learn and can find the time, even if they're busy. If you're busy and still want to learn, if you look around, you can always find 5 or 10 minutes a day, like on a commute. Now, if your mindset is the opposite, if you think you can't learn a language or you don't have time, you won't even try, even if you had a resource that was proven to work. Part 2. Mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And if you think about it, if you had all the time in the world but felt like you couldn't learn a language, you wouldn't try either. Again, this is why it comes down to the mindset and why it all depends on each individual person. Either you think you can or you think you can't. But it may not always be this black and white either. It can also depend on your mental bandwidth too. Think back to your school days, those few days before exams. It got really busy and you had to stop everything to study, right? You were probably thinking, if I can just get through studying this week and take the test, then next week I can finally start relaxing and doing other things. And if someone asked you if you wanted to hang out, you would say no, because you're busy. But chances are you still managed to spend at least 30 minutes on YouTube or social media. Meaning you did have some time, even if you were busy. But the test was occupying your mind and taking up all that bandwidth. So it's also possible that we just don't have the mental bandwidth because we're overwhelmed. And this is a genuine reason for not being able to learn when you're busy. Don't worry, in the next part, we'll show you how to get some bandwidth so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Part 3. 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. So if you've gotten this far, you understand that it is possible to start learning a language, even if you're busy, that you can find the time, but it mostly comes down to your mindset. So how can you develop the mindset? So when you're too busy, it feels like you're overwhelmed and like you don't have control of your time. Well, there are a few things you can do to gain some control of your time, have some breathing room, and learn a bit of language. First, always set small, measurable goals. This is something that we talk a lot about here. For example, learn for 10, 15, or 20 minutes every day. Learn 100 words in 1 month, which means learning 3 to 4 words a day. And the mindset behind this is just being realistic with your goals and what you can do. Because if you're busy, you may not have 1 or 2 hours. And this is a strict rule, especially when starting out with new goals and languages. Always stick to small, measurable goals. Second, lowering your goals and expectations is okay when things get super busy. If you couldn't learn all 100 words for the month and only got up to 40 or 60, that's okay. If you tried learning on Monday and Tuesday but skipped Wednesday and Thursday, that's okay. Sometimes you have to shift priorities, and prioritizing things is a secret to a successful life. You may not get to the goal you wanted to achieve today, but you can get to it next week. Third, it's okay to put language on pause if life gets in the way. Just like with that last point, you can always come back and reach your goal a little later. We often see learners put language on pause, come back later. Some even come back years later. But the key is to come back. Fourth, avoid the all-or-nothing mindset at all costs. And an all-or-nothing mindset is something you'll see in beginners and perfectionists. When you have this mindset, you'll say, language learning requires hours, so there's no point in learning for a few minutes today. But something is better than nothing, and even 5 to 10 minutes of review adds up in the grand scheme. And in the grand scheme, it's more important to be consistent, even if it's just for a minute a day, rather than study for hours once a week. The brain just doesn't work that way. Fifth, do you have a slowdown or relaxing routine that you do on the weekends or whenever you have free time? And if you didn't do it, you'd feel overwhelmed? Leave us a comment and let us know what it is. For some, it could be reading, watching TV, or going to a cafe and doing nothing for a bit. You're there on your own, you don't have much to do in front of you, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're settled, you start feeling in control. And that's the point you have some mental bandwidth. You can start doing some time management and plan your week out. You can put in a few minutes of language learning. But if you don't slow down and if you feel overwhelmed, you could have the easiest possible way to learn a language. And you still wouldn't do it. So, back to you. If you were busy, do you think you'd be able to learn a language? Leave us a comment. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Do you record yourself speaking your target language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. After Christmas, the second biggest religious event of the year in the UK is Easter. Even for people who don't celebrate Easter as a religious observance, it is an important time of the year. The date changes every year, but it always coincides with the start of spring. In this lesson, you're going to learn about Easter and how it is celebrated. How many chocolate eggs are eaten in the UK at Easter? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. At Easter, we give each other eggs. Eggs symbolize the resurrection and new life of Jesus Christ following his crucifixion. When this tradition started, it was bird eggs painted in bright colors that were given. Now, we give chocolate eggs to each other, and especially to children, that often have even more chocolate inside. A popular activity at Easter is to hold an Easter egg hunt. Small eggs are given in an area, usually a garden or public place, such as a school, and then people try to find them. The eggs can be real eggs that have been hard-boiled and painted, or small chocolate eggs. Schools will hold many events and competitions related to Easter, and one of the most famous is the Easter Bonnet Parade. For this, hats are decorated with Easter-related decorations, such as eggs, chicks, and rabbits. There are egg rolling competitions, where hard-boiled eggs are rolled down a slide or a hill, and the egg that travels the furthest without breaking apart wins. Also, there are egg decorating competitions. At Christmas, it is Santa Claus that brings the presents, but at Easter, it is the Easter Bunny that brings the eggs. Chocolate figures in the shape of bunnies are popular gifts at Easter, alongside the traditional eggs. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. How many chocolate eggs are eaten in the UK at Easter? Around 80 million eggs are eaten by Brits at Easter. This is particularly impressive for a country that has a population of only 63 million people. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you have any games similar to the ones I spoke about in your country? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hey everyone, I'm Alicia. Halloween is a time for celebration in the USA. It's become the second most popular holiday in the nation over the years. Halloween is known for its oftentimes scary costumes, elaborate parties and events, horror film festivals, and its many Gothic trappings. This holiday was a latecomer to the US, not really becoming popular until the early 20th century. Today, it's one of the most anticipated holidays in the USA. Halloween is very much associated with scary costumes and things that are wonderfully creepy. Do you know what holiday dressing up in scary costumes was likely borrowed from? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. People in the USA typically carve pumpkins into scary jack-o'-lanterns, decorate their houses to look as creepy as possible, and wear elaborate costumes to celebrate this holiday. These aspects of Halloween, according to some, have their roots in various Celtic and European myths, legends, and cultural traditions. Today, popular horror films have also influenced the cultural traditions that surround Halloween. The monster movies of the early 20th century are significant contributors to the look and feel of modern Halloween celebrations in the USA. Trick-or-treating started at the beginning of the 20th century to curb the vandalism and destruction that once characterized this holiday in the USA. Today, Halloween is a night when the streets are full of families getting treats from their neighbors, and vandalism and other problems are rare. Some families and social groups set up elaborate haunted houses and invite people to go through for free or for a donation. Hayrides and other nighttime events are also very popular in rural areas. Check the local theaters and TV stations around Halloween, and you'll find plenty of scary stuff to watch, too. Over the years, Halloween costumes in the USA have become more varied. Some people, particularly younger participants, forego the dark Gothic theme of the holiday and dress up as characters from adventure movies, literary figures, or even historical figures. And now, here's the answer to the quiz. Do you know what holiday dressing up in scary costumes was likely borrowed from? Samhain is considered to be a significant influence on Halloween celebrations, though this is disputed by some scholars. Samhain was, and still is to some extent, celebrated in Scotland and Ireland. It's associated with the final harvest of the year more than it is with scary ghouls and goblins, though spirits do play a part. The dressing up was originally done to scare malicious spirits away or to trick them into thinking that you were one of them to avoid harm. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Is Halloween celebrated in your country? If so, how? Please leave a comment at EnglishClass101.com. Until next time!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to learn a language in 2022. If you're planning to learn a language in 2022, then this episode is for you, especially if you want to finally succeed with your New Year's resolution, instead of failing or giving up in the next week or two. That's why today you'll discover 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language, and 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. But first, if you're looking for some free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Using Opposites Conversation Cheat Sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn common opposite adjectives like near and far, hot and cold, and grammar rules on how to use these words in a sentence. Second, the How to Say Goodbye PDF Writing Workbook. With this printable PDF, you'll pick up some common parting greetings and be able to practice writing them out. Third, can you talk about cars in your target language? Learn how to say words like tire, windshield, headlights, and more with this quick vocab bonus. Fourth, Must know words and phrases for public transportation. Learn how to say ticket, bus, train, and much more with this quick 1-minute lesson. 5th, the 10 habits of highly effective language learners. Wondering which habits will help you succeed with language learning? Then check out this free lesson. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to learn a language in 2022. Part 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language. Every time you start a new language, you should start with 1. Goals, 2. Anchor points, 3. Grammar, 4. Reading. What are these 4 steps, and why do you need them to succeed with language learning? Let's jump in. The first one is goals. Everything starts with a goal, but your goal itself can also lead you to failure if you don't set it the right way. So more specifically, you need to set small, measurable monthly goals instead of just, I want to learn a language and be fluent this year. We'll cover goals in the second part of this episode, so stay tuned. After goals, the second step is setting anchor points. What are anchor points? Imagine a small ship in the middle of a big lake. It's windy, lots of waves, and the ship is bobbing up and down, drifting all around. What would you use to stop the ship from drifting away? An anchor. And just like an anchor keeps the ship in place, anchor points keep you from drifting away from your language. So an anchor point is a connection to the language that keeps you attached to the language and motivated to learn the language. One great example is language school. Imagine you signed up and paid thousands of dollars up front. Paying that much would motivate you to make the most of your time there. It's also a big commitment, one that you can't easily back out of. And school dictates your schedule. You have to wake up early, you have to do homework. Your life revolves around the classes. And as such, language school and the language itself become anchor points that your life revolves around. Anchor points can also be family or a partner that speaks the language you're learning. You're around them, you're exposed to the language, so your motivation to learn gets a bit stronger. Buying a language learning program or textbook are also examples of good anchor points. You invested your hard-earned money, which means you're serious about learning. Plus, you want to make sure your investment doesn't go to waste, so you're more motivated. If you're wondering if you have any anchor points, you already have at least one. You're watching our lessons on YouTube. But the more anchor points you have, the stronger your motivation will be. So if you're into music or TV shows in your target language, those can serve as anchor points too. These are things that connect you to the language and add a bit of motivation to learn more, or at the very least, understand what you're watching or listening to. We covered goals and anchor points. What's next? The third step is you must have a good grasp of grammar of your native language. Now, you might wonder, if you're learning a new language, why focus on your native language? Well, as native speakers, the problem is we know what good grammar sounds like, but we can't explain how or why our language works the way it works. So if you don't have a good grasp of grammar, the backbone or the rules of a language, then you'll have a tough time learning a new language. You'll jump in and start learning words and phrases, but you'll never learn how to put them together and make sentences. That's a common problem beginners have. Now, if you already know the grammar of your native language, how do you apply that to your target language? For example, if you're an English speaker, and if you know that English sentences follow the subject, verb, object pattern, and if you know that languages have specific sentence patterns, then you'd go look at patterns. Then you'd have a good idea of how to create your own sentences, instead of learning random words first. Finally, the fourth step is reading. Reading is good simply because you can do it anywhere, anytime, and without a teacher. It's a skill you can get started on day one, on your own. Reading also tends to spill over into other areas. The more you read, the more words and grammar rules you come across, so you boost your vocabulary and grammar, which can seep into speaking and listening. If you read out loud, you're practicing two skills at once. Now, we've covered what you need: goals, anchor points, reading, and grammar. Setting anchor points, knowing your own grammar, and reading are simple enough, but how do you set goals that don't lead you to failure? Part 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. The goal that you set can make or break your language learning journey. So setting the right goals makes all the difference between success and failure. Just think about all of the common New Year's resolutions. What comes to mind? Goals like, I want to be fluent someday. I want to speak the language. I want to lose weight. I want to save more money. These big, vague goals often lead to failure because you simply have no idea how to approach the goal and you don't know what you're aiming for. Instead, your goals should be small, measurable, and monthly. For example, speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of the month. Learn 100 words by the end of the month. Finish Chapter 1 of your language textbook by the end of the month. If you're using our program, finish 20 audio lessons by the end of the month. All of these are small and specific. 1 minute, 100 words, 1 chapter, 20 audio lessons. This means that they're easy to reach, unlike something vague like fluency. They're also measurable. You know when you reach 1 minute. You can check if you know all 100 words or if you finished all 20 lessons. If you aim for fluency, you won't know when you hit it. It's too vague and too big of a goal, and it may take years to hit. Finally, all of these goals have a deadline, the end of the month. That would mean January 31st of this year. Deadlines give you a clear date to aim for, and without one, you'll forever be floating around without much progress. So set a deadline for the end of every month. So now that you know how to set small, measurable monthly goals, leave us a comment. What's your small, measurable monthly goal, and what's the deadline? So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. A lot of countries celebrate Christmas Day on the 25th of December. But did you know that in the UK, there is another public holiday on the 26th of December called Boxing Day? In this lesson, you're going to learn about Boxing Day and why it is a special day. The 26th of December is better known in many countries as a Saint's Day. What is the name of the saint? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. The origin of the name Boxing Day is not fully known, and there are many theories. Some say it is because the poor boxes in church were opened on the 26th of December. Another theory is that it is because tradesmen would collect their Christmas box of presents and gifts from their customers on the day after Christmas. Boxing Day has become one of the busiest shopping days of the year, as it is a day when the big post-Christmas sales start. Eager shoppers start queuing from the early hours of the morning to grab bargains. The sale at the department store Harrods is particularly famous, as it will sell unique, one-off items for huge discounts. For these items, it is first come, first served. Boxing Day is also a day for sport. Traditionally, it was a day for fox hunting, but this practice was banned in 2004. Some hunts still go ahead despite the ban, but others are artificial hunts when no foxes are chased or harmed. It is also a day for football fans, as a full program of football fixtures are held on Boxing Day. Many people go to football games or watch the matches from home. With so much food prepared for Christmas Day, it is inevitable that some will be left over. So Boxing Day is for eating leftovers. Turkey sandwiches, turkey salad, anything that is left over gets eaten on Boxing Day. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. The 26th of December is better known in many countries as a Saint's Day. What is the name of the saint? The 26th of December is also St. Stephen's Day, although within the UK, it is almost exclusively known as Boxing Day. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you remember the theories as to why it is called Boxing Day? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Columbus Day celebrates the day that Christopher Columbus first arrived in the Americas. The holiday is celebrated on October 12th, and in some cities, there are very large parades and many other events. It's particularly popular in US cities with large Italian populations, though it's celebrated nationwide. A famous American charity organization is named after Christopher Columbus and takes part in celebrations during Columbus Day. Can you guess which one? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. In Italian-American communities, particularly in the larger cities in the US, Columbus Day is very much tied to a celebration of their heritage, in addition to the celebration of Columbus's arrival in the Americas. Cultural and religious images and symbols specific to Italian Americans are abundant in Columbus Day parades. If there's one thing that defines Columbus Day celebrations in the US, it's the parade. New York City is particularly well known for its large Columbus Day parade. San Francisco has the longest-running Columbus Day celebration in the United States, dating back to 1868. Columbus Day in the US is not celebrated in every state. In fact, some US states do not recognize it at all, and many schools remain open on the day. There is controversy surrounding this holiday, and it's been changed to a celebration of Native American cultures in some areas. Columbus didn't realize he'd arrived in the Americas. This is why Native Americans are sometimes referred to as Indians, which, incidentally, some say is politically incorrect. Columbus initially thought he was in the East Indies. And now, here's the answer to the quiz. Do you know a famous American charity organization that's named after Christopher Columbus and takes part in celebrations on Columbus Day? The Knights of Columbus is a charitable organization with very strong Italian and Catholic roots. They participate in just about every Columbus Day celebration. You'll find them marching among the participants in any large parade, to be sure. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Are there any holidays that celebrate a famous historical figure in your country? Please leave a comment at EnglishClass101.com. Until next time!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Since you're learning the language, then you're very much aware of the importance of speaking, which can be easy if you're an extrovert, or hard if you're an introvert. So, how can you speak more if you're on the shy side? Keep watching this month's episode. You'll discover who learns faster, extroverts or introverts, why learning a language can help you become more extroverted, and 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Sport and Exercise Conversation Cheat Sheet. Want to talk about fitness in your target language? You'll learn over 50 words and phrases for sports and exercise with this brand new cheat sheet. Second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. Third, the top 12 April Fool's phrases. Want to be able to say some outrageous phrases in your target language for April Fool's Day? Then you'll want this April Fool's phrase list. Fourth, can you talk about your bones in your target language? Learn how to say words like skull, ribs, spine, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. Fifth, 20 must-know jewelry vocabulary. Do you know how to say earrings or necklace in your target language? If you don't, then this vocab lesson is for you. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Part 1. Do extroverts or introverts learn languages faster? If you've ever wondered whether introverts or extroverts learn the language faster, there have been studies done on this. And as you'd expect, extroverts do have an advantage when it comes to speaking and overall conversational skills. Of course, these studies didn't take into account mistakes you may make, such as grammar, vocab, etc. And introverts? Introverts tend to observe and listen more, and tend to be better listeners. Do you agree with these findings? Leave a comment. So the key takeaway is they each have their own advantages. One has something that the other lacks. And that makes sense, doesn't it? If you speak less, your speaking skills will be weaker. And if you want to just speak a lot, you get good at speaking but miss out on the other skills, like listening and reading. So unfortunately, you can't really say who learns faster based on personality alone, just that each one has their advantages and disadvantages. But personality aside, success with a language will always depend on your attitude towards learning itself and how much time you put in. The person that has a better chance of becoming fluent will always be the one that puts in more time to learn, practice, get feedback, adjust with the feedback, and not so much about whether they're extroverted or introverted. But what if you're an introvert who wants to be able to speak more? Is there a way to become more extroverted? Part 2. How to speak more, even if you're an introvert. There are ways to become more extroverted, at least more than your usual self. How? Well, first, by learning a language. When you learn a language, you have a natural desire to connect with native speakers, even if you're shy. Also, native speakers tend to be very supportive and welcoming when you're trying to learn their language. So even if you're shy, it's kind of hard to stay shy in the long run when the people you speak with are so encouraging. In your native language, even if you know a million ways to start a conversation, you might not try to speak to someone because you're worried about whether you have something clever to say or the timing or some other social aspect. But in another language, where you may only know a few phrases, you're not bogged down by that. You just do the best you can with the few phrases you have. Plus, learning a language alone gives you a chance to reinvent yourself. To learn another language is to acquire another soul, as the quote goes. So, learning a language alone puts you on a path towards becoming more extroverted. But if you want specific tips, here are 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. Number 1. Learn how to listen like an introvert. How can this help you to speak more? Introverts tend to listen more, and the better listener you become, the better questions you can ask, which results in a more meaningful conversation, which also means more speaking time for you. So you can speak more, even if you consider yourself an introvert, by listening well and asking relevant and pertinent questions. By the way, if you want to learn how to ask questions, then check out our top 25 questions you need to know, where you'll learn all about what to ask and answer regarding the most common conversational questions. Number 2, increase speaking time and confidence through experience. Simply put, the more experiences you have in life or experience with certain topics, the more knowledgeable you become. And as your life or work experiences grow, so will your audience. You'll find people coming to you to talk to you. It could be about business, travel, or just your own life stories. If a conversation is about France, and if you've been to France, the conversation will gravitate towards you. Having all that experience makes things easy for you as an introvert. People will come to you, so you don't have to find them. For a language learner, the tricks are to 1. Be knowledgeable about something, and 2. Be able to talk about your experience in the target language. Number 3. Find the right audience. Imagine talking to someone that's not interested in learning languages. They'll give you 100 reasons why they can't learn, never reasons why it might work out for them, right? But when you're talking to an audience that's interested in languages, then you can have a conversation that could go on for hours. So find the right audience to share with. With language learning, it means you need to find native speakers that share the same hobbies or interests as you. Number 4, talk about what you know best. The introvert-extrovert dynamic also depends on how much you know about a topic and what you're most comfortable with. There are topics you may not know enough about, so you won't talk as much. But even the biggest introvert can become a confident speaker once you touch upon a topic they know well. That's where they shine. So if your goal is to be more extroverted, then focus on the things you know about. Or you can always gain experience in topics you don't know much about so you can speak more. Number 5, create opportunities to speak. How? Well, it's hard to stop a stranger and start talking with them without any context, right? But what if you need help finding something at a store? Or have a question about a dish at a restaurant? then it's much easier since you're there with a purpose. So you can create these opportunities by going to a restaurant from the country that speaks your target language and speaking with the staff, or asking a taxi driver a question, or asking staff at an information booth a question. So to recap, if you want to speak more, even if you're an introvert, 1. Listen like an introvert. 2. Increase speaking time and confidence through experience. 3. Find the right audience. 4. Talk about what you know best. And 5. Create opportunities to speak. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how tipping points will bring you closer to your language goals. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. Remember, the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. If you live in the UK, you will know that rhyme and what it means. If you don't, then you soon will. It refers to Guy Fawkes Day, an annual celebration on the 5th of November. In this lesson, you're going to learn about what Guy Fawkes Day is and how it is celebrated. Why did people in the UK first start to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. Guy Fawkes Day celebrates the failure of Guy Fawkes and his accomplices in their plot to kill King James I. In 1605, Fawkes and his friends planned to blow up the Houses of Parliament with the Protestant king inside and replace him with a Catholic monarch. However, their plot was discovered and they were arrested and later executed for treason. We celebrate Guy Fawkes Day by lighting large bonfires and setting off fireworks. The celebrations are also called Bonfire Night. People may go to organised firework displays or have smaller parties in their gardens. Fireworks are a large part of the celebrations, and although the event is on the 5th of November, it isn't unusual to hear fireworks throughout October too. Another way of marking the day is by the making of a guy. A guy is a homemade dummy that is usually made to resemble Guy Fawkes himself. It used to be commonplace to see children with their guys asking for money by shouting, "Penny for the guy!" But this tradition is not as popular in recent years. The guys are thrown onto the bonfires and burnt. The image of Guy Fawkes has become very popular in recent years due to Guy Fawkes masks being used in the film V for Vendetta and also by the online group Anonymous. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. Why did people in the UK first start to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day? The celebrations of Guy Fawkes Day began because the government in 1605 enforced a public day of celebration. The public had no choice but to light bonfires and celebrate the failure of the plot. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you have any events or festivals that you celebrate with fireworks in your country? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Thanksgiving is one of the most celebrated holidays in the United States. It also marks the beginning of the holiday season, the weeks leading up to Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and the winter solstice, which are all widely celebrated holidays in the US. For retailers, Thanksgiving begins their busiest season. Thanksgiving is celebrated on the 4th Thursday of November. Thanksgiving was founded as a national holiday by one of the most famous presidents of the United States. Do you know who it might have been? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. Thanksgiving, to a large extent, is about having a feast with friends and family. Turkey is the traditional main course with yams, squash, pumpkin pie, cranberries, and other rich and filling foods rounding out the meal. Some families spend weeks preparing for their Thanksgiving feast, and to stuff oneself is most certainly encouraged. The Thanksgiving meal of today is rooted in the meal that the Pilgrims from Europe shared with the Native Americans on the first Thanksgiving. This was quite a feast. Turkey, duck, goose, squash, corn, and a plethora of other foods were shared between the Europeans and the Native Americans. This original fete was said to go on for 3 full days. Football is another tradition during Thanksgiving celebrations in the United States. Watching the football game while preparing the Thanksgiving meal is an important part of the celebration for many families. Families that aren't sports fans, however, may opt to spend the time outside, enjoying the crisp autumn air, or may find other diversions to enjoy while the turkey cooks. Thanksgiving is not a uniquely American holiday. There are similar celebrations in Canada, for instance. The concept behind the holiday, showing thankfulness by having a feast, spans many cultures. And now, here's the answer to the quiz. Do you know who founded Thanksgiving as a national holiday? Abraham Lincoln established Thanksgiving during the dark days of the American Civil War. Even though the holiday was officially born during this conflict, it's more associated with the initially good relations between the first European immigrants and the Native Americans. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Is there a day in your country where you give thanks? Please leave a comment at EnglishClass101.com. Until next time!
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.